For this assignment, I've chosen the Legends of the League option featuring my take, Legends Beyond. Runeterra, the world created by Riot Games and plagued by conflict of the political stature for hundreds of years. These politicians and factions used very powerful champions, summoners, and general creatures to do their bidding and wage war across the entirety of Runeterra as a whole. The major warring factions were Valoran and Noxus. This war raged on for hundreds of years until the most powerful summoners came together and decided to come to a peaceful conclusion on what they could do, thus creating the League of Legends, a place where these two warring factions, as well as the Void, could get together, settle their disputes, and duke it out on the fields of justice, thus no longer having to tear Runeterra asunder for another couple hundred of years. Now, this solution worked for quite some time, and still does to this day. But what happens when summoners and champions leave the fields of justice and step back into their own factions? Do they still harbor the same hatred as they previously did for the other faction? The League of Legends can't solve everything. What happens beyond the League? Now, who knows what happens when summoners and champions leave? They could be having a great time. Everything could be well. They could have made friends and connections that they never normally would have if the Rune Wars were still in full effect on Runeterra. Maybe the League of Legends did solve everything. Or maybe that's not the case. Maybe everything's taken a much darker turn. Maybe instead of taking a peaceful turn, the League allowed the other factions to learn about each other in a more intimate setting, allowing them to exploit each other's weaknesses outside of the fields of justice, and preparing for a much deadly war to ensue, given new knowledge on the enemy's capabilities, strengths, and weaknesses. This is all explained in Legends Beyond. See, now, the original lore of the game could easily be incorporated into Legends Beyond. The friendships that were made, the relationships, the family ties, and the feelings towards opposite factions and those warriors who stood outside the factions just looking for chaos. That can all be easily included. Main antagonists staying Noxus, protagonists being Valorian. These are all well done storylines and plot devices implemented by Riot Games and their writers in an excellent way that I've been captivated by myself for many of years. I only wish to add the aspect of what happens when they leave. What are their lives like outside of the League? We take control of the characters that fight on the field of justice, knowing somewhat of their backstories but not knowing what happens after the League. What did the League do to these characters? We know the outright effects that they had on the war itself, but what happens to these summoners and these champions when they step off that field? Are they praised? Are they revered as heroes in their respective factions? Who knows? That's what I'm here to find out. This story is going to take a lot of different turns and propose many different questions as well as answer some that are already existing. My expectations of Legends Beyond is to even make it into more of an RPG. Perhaps you can take control of one of the main protagonists, maybe someone like Garen, or one of the main antagonists, like Tryndamere. Both characters that are a huge staple in the League of Legends game and lore already. There's no need to necessarily change your story, more like add to it. What does Tryndamere learn from his encounters with Garen? And what weaknesses does Garen now see in Tryndamere's defense? Can Tryndamere die now? Can Garen's strength be sapped from him in some way? They may know that answer. How does this affect their relationships with the rest of the factions? Are there more allies? More enemies? Tensions lower or higher? I'd like to get into it and explain. My take is that they wouldn't be very good at all. The League of Legends is a quick fix. things get much worse. The Rune Wars have never truly ended, and Runeterra is on a deadly track to be split in half yet again. As stated previously, I don't wish to make any radical changes to the general storyline. I believe that it is a well-written story, with a very fleshed out cast of characters, and a lot of potential. I merely wish to see what lies beyond the fields. What happens to these legends when they are beyond the control of the summoners, thus spawning my idea of League of Legends, Legends Beyond.